Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to mastering new knowledge. Today, we're diving into something incredibly personal and powerful, the mechanics of your own memory and concentration.
Yeah, and our mission today, it's really to demystify why you forget things, and maybe more importantly, give you some practical science-backed techniques.
Right? Techniques to sort of supercharge your mental performance in everyday life, from acing a presentation to just remembering names, finally.
That's the goal. We want to help transform how you learn, how you recall information, and really how you interact with the world. We've boiled down insights from a whole stack of sources.
Turning that complex cognitive science into something you can actually use.
Exactly. Actionable wisdom. Get ready for some aha moments, hopefully without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Okay, let's kick things off with something we all experience, right? Forgetting. That frustration.
We've all been there. Searching for keys, blinking on a name.
Or that thing you definitely talked about yesterday, just gone. But here's a surprising idea. Maybe forgetting isn't always the enemy.
It's actually, well, it's a feature, not a bug. Seriously, think about it. If you remembered everything, every single tiny detail.
Oh, that would be chaos.
Complete overload, you'd be buried. Forgetting is natural, it's necessary. It lets your brain filter, prioritize, make space.
So the real problem isn't just forgetting. It's forgetting stuff we, consciously tried to remember.
That I must remember this moment, and then, poof.
Yeah. And that shows something important, doesn't it? Your conscious mind directs attention, but it doesn't directly control memory itself. You can't just will it to stick.
Precisely. And that leads us right into the main reason behind most forgetting, something called interference theory.
Okay, interference.
Yeah, and it kind of flips the script on the common idea that time passing is the main culprit.
Right. People always say, oh, it was too long ago.
But actually, while time plays a role, it's the mental activity between learning and recalling that makes the biggest difference.
Get this. This is really counterintuitive.
Yeah.
We actually forget very little during sleep.
Almost nothing. It's fascinating. Most forgetting happens when we're awake simply because our brains are constantly doing other things.
That's not the clock. It's what your brain is busy with.
Exactly. It's the intervening mental activity. And there are two key things about that activity that really drive forgetting.
Okay, what are they?
First, the intensity of that intervening activity. So imagine you learn a new fact. If what you do next is super intense, like navigating heavy traffic or a really stressful meeting.
You're more likely to forget the fact.
Much more likely than if you just went for a quiet walk afterwards. More intensity or more tension equals more forgetting.
Okay, intensity. What's the second one?
The degree of similarity. If the stuff you do after learning is very similar to what you just learned, that causes way more memory loss.
Ah, so like learning one shopping list, then immediately trying to learn a second similar one.
Exactly. That second list will massively interfere with your memory of the first one, much more than if you'd switched to a totally different task, like, say, reading a book.
Okay, so what's the takeaway for, everyday life?
Well, think about asking your spouse for something complex right before they rush off to a super busy workday.
Yeah, bad idea. It'll likely get lost in the shuffle.
Probably. Because of all that intense mental activity, ask them before a relaxing weekend. Much better chance it sticks.
That also changes how you'd plan a meeting, right? If you have really crucial, difficult stuff to discuss.
Don't put it right after some other intense debate. Do the routine, easy stuff first. Let people's minds settle, then hit the hard topics later.
You're basically managing the interference levels.
Got it. Always think about what kind of mental activity will follow when you need someone or yourself to remember something important.
Interesting. Okay, shifting gears a bit. What about the difference between short-term and long-term memory? Psychologists talk about that distinction.
They do, and there seems to be a real physiological difference, although your brain doesn't draw like a super sharp line. It's more of a continuum.
But isn't it weird how sometimes you can remember something crystal clear from childhood?
Yeah.
Like vividly.
Yeah, but you can't remember what you had for lunch yesterday, especially if that childhood thing was really emotional or significant.
Exactly. It's like your brain has this VIP lane for emotionally charged stuff. It gets fast-tracked to long-term storage, almost bypassing the usual process. Shows the power of emotion, doesn't it?
Definitely. And that connects to something called retrograde amnesia.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating, but also scary. Someone has a traumatic brain injury, loses consciousness.
And they often can't remember what happened right before the injury.
Right. But as they recover, the older memories come back first. Things further away from the accident. Then gradually, memories closer to the event might return.
which suggests there's a process happening, like the memories need time to solidify.
That's the idea. We call it consolidation. It's like a mental hardening process needed to lock events into long-term memory. Without it, they can be wiped out by trauma.
So short-term memory is like this filter then. A crucial dynamic filter system, yeah. Most daily stuff just flickers through and fades, but the important moments, the emotional ones,
They get consolidated, they stick.
right, it lets you function day to day without being buried by every single detail.
Okay, one more big factor in forgetting. Your mental state at the moment you try to remember.
Yes. Specifically, tension and excitement, not when you learned it, but when you're trying to recall it.
That explains so much. Like why preparing for a high-pressure debate needs way more work than for a casual chat.
Totally. If you know you'll be tense, your preparation has to account for that. You need to overlearn it almost to overcome the recall block caused by tension.
We read that funny story about the young guy who kept forgetting his date's name.
Haha, yeah. Right at the romantic moments, right. Leaning in, feeling all emotional.
And boom, name gone, blank.
It shows how high emotion can literally block recall. It's not lack of effort, it's biology kicking in.
Okay, so we've kind of dissected why we forget. It's not random.
Yeah.
The reasons: interference, lack of consolidation, recall, tension.
But here's the good news, the empowering part. Now that you understand the mechanics,
You can do something about it.
exactly, you can actively equip your mind. These aren't magic tricks. They're skills, principles based on how your brain actually works.
Let's dive into those principles. Where do we start?
Let's start with principle group A, organization and meaning. This is fundamental. Your brain is wired to look for patterns, for connections.
Organization is king, basically. It's not just neatness, it's how the brain wants to work.
Absolutely. Think about it. A meaningful sentence like, all those apples are in the back seat of the car, is way easier to remember than just a jumbled list of those same words.
Because there's structure, there's meaning.
Right. And new knowledge has to connect to what you already know. That's why remembering nonsense words is so hard. There's nothing for them to hook onto in your existing mental web.
Like your brain needs existing folders to file things in.
Sort of, yeah. Or existing threads in that web to attach new information to. If there's no connection point, it often just falls away.
We saw that cool example with the 16-number square.
Yeah.
Looked impossible at first.
Totally random. But then, if you start seeing patterns like, oh, this diagonal adds up, or these numbers form a sequence,
Suddenly you can recall it perfectly.
because you've imposed organization, you've found relationships. And perceiving relationships is a massive memory booster.
That applies to more than just numbers, right? Like understanding the main point of something.
Definitely. Think about that example of Bill's long golf message. He rambles for ages about the weather, his ankle.
But the core message, the thing you needed to remember, was just, he can't play golf tomorrow.
Your brain latches onto the summary, the essence. Same with recalling, say, the Gettysburg Address. Trying to quote it word for word often fails.
But remembering the main theme, that the nation was founded on certain principles and must endure.
That sticks because it's the core idea. Focus on the gist, the main message. That's far more effective for recall.
Makes total sense. Okay, building on that, let's talk principle group B, discrimination and purpose. Memory is selective.
It has to be. Not all ideas are equally important, even if they look the same on paper. Your memory is constantly choosing, filtering.
So how do we help it choose the right things?
By consciously deciding what's outstanding or important. That simple act is a huge memory principle. Take parking your car.
Instead of just wandering off.
Pause. Look around. Pick a permanent landmark, a specific tree, a sign, a building entrance. Then consciously note, my car is 3 spots down from the red sign.
You're actively discriminating, telling your brain this detail matters.
Exactly. You're giving it a specific anchor point for later recall. And this idea of having a purpose leads straight into effective reading.
Reading with a mission.
Yeah. If you approach a text with a clear goal, like finding a specific name in a directory or a particular date in an article, your mind stays focused.
Less mind wandering, better comprehension.
Significantly better. Try this. Before you read an article, ask yourself a specific question you want answered. What am I looking for here? That sets your purpose and primes your brain.
Love that. Okay, next group, principle group C. Imagination, emotion, and personal involvement. This sounds fun.
It is. And it taps into something powerful we often neglect in our very verbal, text-based world, visual memory.
Which often stronger, right? Like remembering a face is usually easier than remembering the name that goes with it.
Almost always. Our visual memory system is incredibly potent, but adults, especially those trained in verbal systems, sometimes let it atrophy. Kids are naturals at it.
But we can reawaken it, unleash the inner visualizer.
Absolutely. Think of it like creating an inner cinema. Here are some tips. 1, imagine things clearly and in vivid colors. Don't do black and white.
Okay, the vivid color.
2, exaggerate size. Make things huge or tiny in your mind. Bigger, bolder images stick.
Got it. Exaggerate.
3, see it in 3 dimensions. Give it depth.
3D. Makes sense.
And 4, crucially, always visualize in movement and action. Static mental images fade much faster than dynamic ones.
Movement and action, like a little movie clip.
Exactly. Now combine that with ego involvement. It's all about you. We remember things connected to ourselves far better than abstract facts about others.
Like that Venus observed essay example.
Perfect example. If you just read the facts, 800 degrees, Mariners second, they might not stick. But if you mentally put yourself in that spacecraft,
Feel the heat, see the clouds swirling.
visualize the action from your own perspective,
Wow.
suddenly those facts about Venus are personal, experiential. They'll last much longer.
Even for something simple like gas station direction.
Yes. Don't just hear turn left at the bridge. Mentally drive it. See yourself making the turn, crossing the bridge. Live the journey in your mind.
And emotion plays a huge role here too, obviously.
No, massive. Emotional hooks are incredibly powerful. Think about major historical events like President Kennedy's assassination. People remember where they were, what they were doing.
Because the emotion burns it in.
Right. Emotions trigger other emotions. They trigger associated memories. It's like a built-in amplifier for memory encoding.
And finally, in this group, embracing the unusual.
Yes. Our brains are wired to notice things that stand out, things that break the pattern. The unique, the absurd, the different, they grab attention.
Like the pink house in a row of dark ones. You remember the pink one?
Instantly. It's a fantastic starting point for memory. So when you're creating your own mental associations, don't be afraid to make them weird, wacky, unusual.
The more bizarre, the better it sticks.
Often, yes. Nobody else needs to see your mental image. Make it memorable for you.
All right, moving on to Principle Group D. Motivation, action, and review. This feels like it gets to the why.
It really does. Motivation is the engine.
Right.
We read that amazing story about the man who memorized a 40-item shopping list perfectly.
Yeah, nailed it using a memory system. His wife challenged him.
Recalled every item flawlessly, and then completely forgot to actually go to the store.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What does that tell us?
It highlights that motivation and interest are the absolute fuel for concentration and memory. He was motivated to prove he could remember, but his intention wasn't really to do the shopping.
Your underlying goal matters.
Deeply. Which is why goal setting itself is a memory aid. Setting clear, measurable goals, especially short-range ones.
Like breaking down a big project into smaller chunks.
Exactly. That 100-page assignment becomes 10-page goals. Each time you finish a chunk, you get that satisfaction, that sense of completion.
Mini finish lines.
Right. And that boosts retention. You're always close to achieving something, which keeps motivation high.
And there's power in just finishing things, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Leaving tasks undone creates a sort of mental drag.
It really does. Uncompleted tasks create tension. They hang around in your mental background, interfering with your focus on other things.
Like that nagging email you haven't sent.
Perfect example. Finishing tasks, even small ones, reduces that tension, clears your mental decks, and improves overall performance.
Okay, what about action? How does doing things help?
Well, one simple action is harnessing your own voice. Vocalization.
Talking to yourself.
Basically, yes. Your brain pays remarkable attention to the sound of your own voice. Say your intentions out loud. I am putting the keys on the hook by the door.
And you'll remember it better.
Significantly better. It adds another sensory layer to the memory. Talking about things, discussing them, also naturally boosts interest and recall.
And physical movement. Kinesthetic learning.
Also powerful. The act of writing notes isn't just about having a record. The physical movement engages motor areas in your brain.
Which enhances memory and concentration.
Definitely. Try it next time you misplace something. Try to recall the physical feeling, the movement of putting it down. It can trigger the memory.
Ultimately, though, understanding is key for retention, right?
Absolutely fundamental. You remember things better if they mean something to you, if they connect to what you already know.
The prior knowledge acts like a scaffold.
Or like mental sponges, yeah. Organized knowledge structures soak up related new information. That's why it's crucial to recall what you already know about a topic before you start learning something new.
Prime the pump.
Exactly. Prepare the mental framework.
And then the final piece, review. We have to revisit things.
We do. The more your brain actively engages with information, the better it sticks. But how you review matters.
Not just passively reread.
No. Self-recitation is far superior. Actively trying to recall the information without looking at your notes or the text, that's the real test.
Forcing retrieval.
That's what builds long-term retention. Test yourself constantly. If you struggle, then look and maybe say the answer aloud.
And for high-pressure situations, like tests or interviews.
Mental warm-up is key. Prepare your brain specifically for recall under tension. Visualize the situation, visualize the information you'll need, visualize yourself calmly and successfully retrieving it.
Pre-activating the pathways.
You got it. Preventing those mental blanks.
And the ultimate principle seems to be just using the information.
Usage is king. Brain cells, like muscles, thrive on use. Actively applying knowledge is the surest way to retain it.
More effective than just rote memorization drills.
Far more. Think about someone learning insurance principles. The student cramming for a test might forget it quickly, but someone applying those principles to figure out their own actual insurance needs.
They'll remember it because they used it. It had a practical purpose.
Exactly. So always ask yourself, how can I use this information? Imagine a scenario. That act alone helps lock it in.
Okay, wow. Those are some powerful principles. Now let's get really practical. How do we apply these to specific things like reading, listening, studying?
Right, let's translate principles into techniques.
Yeah.
Starting with reading smarter, not harder. Big one. Adjust your reading rate.
Don't read everything at the same slow pace.
Definitely not. You can probably read light fiction 5 times faster than a dense technical manual. Match your speed to the difficulty.
Why does that help memory?
It optimizes comprehension and prevents mind wandering. Reading too slowly for easy material actually bores your brain and attention drifts. Reading too fast for complex stuff means you don't absorb it. Find the right gear for the road.
And actively look for the structure in what you're reading.
Yes, train yourself. What's the single main idea in this paragraph? How do the headings and subheadings organize the chapter? Skimming first can give you that mental map.
Get the big picture before the details.
Precisely.
Okay, what about listening with purpose? It's easy to just passively hear things.
Very easy. Active listening means engaging your mind. Connect what the speaker is saying to your own knowledge. Think of examples. Anticipate their next point.
Like if they mention nerve regeneration.
You might think, but I know peripheral nerves can regenerate unlike central ones. That connection, that internal dialogue makes it stick.
And asking questions is good.
Absolutely. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Asking questions organizes your thoughts, makes it personal, more memorable. Plus, you can use your questions later as recall cues, like a backward chain.
What about taking notes during lectures or meetings?
Try this SMART method. Draw a line down the middle of your page. Right side for main ideas, key concepts, big points.
Okay, main ideas on the right.
Left side for supporting details, examples, questions, maybe connections to other ideas.
So it forces you to discriminate right there on the page.
Exactly. It enhances recall because you've already done the organizing, and it makes reviewing much faster later.
Clever. Now, studying for retention, what are the key techniques?
First, prepare your mind. Activate those neurons. Before diving into new material, take a minute to recall everything you already know about the subject.
Build that foundation, create those mental sponges.
You got it. Then, spanning is preparation. Quickly run your eyes down the pages. Pick out keywords, headings, first and last sentences. See what sparks your curiosity.
Like a quick recon mission.
Yeah. And then, the big one, self-testing.
This keeps coming up. It's crucial, isn't it?
It is huge. Don't just reread passively. Constantly ask yourself questions about the material without looking. Force that retrieval.
And if you get stuck,
Then look up the answer and maybe say it out loud. Vocalize it. That really helps solidify it. Passive review is okay, but active recall is where deep learning happens.
okay, the moment many have been waiting for. Mastering names, numbers, and speeches. Let's start with numbers. Why are they so hard?
Because they're abstract. They lack built-in meaning or visual hooks. 7 doesn't look like anything in particular.
So we need to give them meaning. That's
Yeah.
where the conversion system comes in.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool. The idea is to turn each digit into a specific consonant sound. There are various systems, but a common one works like this.
Okay, walk us through a simple version.
Sure. Like 1 could be T or D, 1 downstroke. 2 is N, 2 downstrokes. 3 is M, 3 downstrokes. 4 is R, ends in R. 5 is L, Roman numeral L is 50.
Okay.
6 is J, SH, CH, soft G, J looks like 6. 7 is K or hard G. Two sevens can make a K shape. 8 is F or V. Cursive F looks like 8. 9 is P or B. P is a mirror 9. And 0 is Z or S. 0 starts with Z.
Wow, okay, so you get a consonant sound for each digit. Then what?
Then you slot in vowels, which don't count as numbers, to make concrete, visualizable words.
So you turn abstract numbers into actual images.
Exactly. Let's take a random number. Say 7284. That's KNR. You could make that canoer or keener. Maybe imagine Ken rowing.
So you visualize Ken rowing instead of trying to remember 724.
Right. Or a phone number like 421-5837. 421 is RNT, maybe rant. 5837 is LFMK, maybe life make.
So the number becomes a loud rant about a new LifeMake device. That's bizarre, but memorable.
That's the point. And you can use this for anything. Dates, historical facts, prices.
Like the real estate agent example, she used it for house details.
Yeah. She'd link a house feature like a big porch to a conversion word based on bedrooms and price. Say 4 bedrooms, $400 K range, that's 4.0, R and SZ, maybe roses. So she'd vividly picture roses all over the porch.
And then link the address to that image. Instant recall for her clients.
Super efficient. And the tip here is create your own words for numbers 199. Personal words stick better. Practice with shopping lists.
Okay, on to the big one. Names and faces, the most common complaint.
It really is. Prerequisite number 1, pay full attention during introductions. And convince yourself remembering names is important. Half the time we lose it instantly because our attention is already elsewhere.
Interference again?
Yep. Okay, method 1. Make the person fit the name.
How does that work?
If you meet Mr. Carpenter and he doesn't look like one, mentally hand him a hammer and saw. If Mrs. Flowers looks stern, picture her wearing a huge floppy flower hat.
Embrace the absurd.
Absolutely. Make it vivid, maybe funny. It's just for you. You're creating a strong, unique link between the face and the sound.
Okay, method 1. Fit the name. What's method 2?
This is good for groups or quicker associations. Outstanding features. Pick something unique, visually striking eyes, unusual hair, a prominent scar, even distinctive clothing.
Okay, find a feature.
Immediately link the name to that feature. So Mr. Glass has thick glasses. Picture the name Glass etched onto his lenses. Mrs. Reddy has bright red hair. Imagine tiny red D's falling from her hair.
Faster, but maybe less permanent if you use clothing.
Right. Clothes change. Physical features are better anchors.
What about remembering first names?
Connect the new person to someone you already know with that same first name. Look for similarities or even strong contrasts. Oh, you're Dave. You look nothing like my Uncle Dave. That act of comparison helps.
And for a sequence of names, like around a table?
Use a visual story chain, linking each person to the next using the surroundings. Mr. Hill is by the window, on a hill. Mrs. Lake is next. Picture a lake outside the window. Mr. Stone is after her. A stone skips on the light.
Great, it's a narrative. But it's context dependent, right?
Very. You need to follow up with actual conversation to make the names stick long term. These are just initial hooks.
Got it. How about delivering a memorable speech?
Key rule. Don't memorize word for word. Focus on the main thoughts, the core ideas, the sequence.
How do you remember the sequence?
One good trick is using initial letters of your main points to make a memorable acronym or phrase. Like if your points are organization, discrimination, and visualization, you remember ODV, or make a phrase like old dogs fark, just a quick mental nudge.
And combating stage fright or mental blocks?
Preparation helps anticipate questions or arguments, rehearse answers, and crucially, if you feel panic rising, try to shift to an analytical, impersonal mode. High excitement blocks, recall, remember, stay cool.
And finally, athletic recall, like a golf swing.
Skilled movements are mental too. Visualize the entire correct procedure, see the whole swing start to finish. If the visualization feels jerky or incomplete,
Your mental blueprint isn't right.
exactly. And use ego involvement. Don't just watch someone else swing in your mind. See and feel yourself executing it perfectly.
From inside your own body, kinesthetic visualization.
Yes. See the ball flying perfectly, hear the sound, program that success into your mind.
Incredible. So we have the principles, the techniques.
Yeah.
But what's actually happening inside our heads when we do all this? Let's peek at the physiology.
Okay, the basics. Your senses pick up data. It gets converted to electrical impulses, zipping along billions of nerve cells called neurons.
And the crucial point is where they meet, right? The synapse.
The synapse, so that tiny gap. And here's the secret. A signal reaching a synapse doesn't automatically cross. It's a decision point.
Based on what?
Complex chemical conditions. Neurotransmitters like acetylcholine play a role, as does the readiness of the receiving neuron. It's like a gatekeeper.
Why the gatekeeper? Why not let everything through?
Chaos. Your brain would be overwhelmed. The synapse filters, selects, and get this, biologically, mild excitement or tension actually helps signals cross the synapse.
Ah, a little adrenaline is good for focus.
Up to a point, but too much excitement, panic, extreme fear can clamp down those gates, block signals, leading to poor mental function. That recall block we talked about.
So where do memories physically reside?
The cerebral cortex, that wrinkly outer layer, is key for thought, learning, memory. And fascinatingly, it can physically change. Studies on rats showed those in stimulating environments literally grew larger, more developed cortexes.
Wow. Use it or lose it, or rather, use it and grow it.
Pretty much. And sometimes, during brain surgery on conscious patients, stimulating specific cortical spots evokes incredibly vivid, complex memories.
Like hearing music or reliving a scene, suggests memories are localized.
To some extent, yes. Specific areas seem linked to certain memory functions. However, there's also this saving principle.
Meaning?
If brain tissue holding a memory trace is damaged, relearning can be faster than the first time. It suggests memories aren't just in one spot. They're likely distributed, routed to multiple cells, multiple locations.
Redundancy, so other areas can take over.
Exactly. Your brain has countless interconnections linking visual, verbal, sensory memories. Recalling one tiny fragment, a smell, a sound can trigger the whole network, bringing back the entire experience.
Scientists used to hunt for a single memory molecule, right? Like RNA.
Yeah, early research pointed strongly at RNA. There were those incredible, controversial experiments transferring learned fears between rats just by injecting RNA from a trained rat's brain into an untrained one.
So is RNA the memory molecule?
Well, the current understanding is a bit more nuanced. RNA is definitely involved, likely in the transition from electrical signal to a stable chemical form, but it seems RNA then directs the assembly of specific protein structures within the neuron.
And those proteins are the long-term storage.
That's the leading theory now. These complex protein structures physically embody the memory trace over the long haul. Every time you form an association, link ideas, feel an emotion tied to a fact.
You're literally building these tiny protein structures.
Essentially, yes. A new association might be a new chemical structure formed when signals from different neurons converge within a cell. Learning physically changes your brain at a microscopic level.
But how we get the memory back out, that's still fuzzy.
That's the big mystery. We understand the storage part reasonably well, neurons, synapses, chemicals, proteins, but the exact process of recall, how that stored chemical information gets accessed, converted back into electrical signals, and brought into conscious awareness, that's still a profound scientific puzzle.
Amazing. So much known, yet so much still to discover.
Absolutely. But what we do know is powerful. Memory and concentration aren't fixed things you're just born with.
They're skills. Dynamic, interconnected skills.
Exactly, and you can actively develop them by consciously using these principles. Organization, discrimination, vitalization, motivation, action, review. Working with your brain's natural tendencies.
So as we wrap up, maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Well, consider this. Your beliefs about who you are, your self-concept, is largely built from memories of your past experiences. Right?
Makes sense. What you remember shapes who you think you are.
So what if you consciously chose to focus on, record, and mentally revisit your successes, even the small ones?
You'd be actively programming your own memory system.
To reinforce patterns of success, to build a self-image based on achievement. Maybe the most powerful memory hack isn't just about remembering shopping lists or names,
but about using your memory to deliberately shape your own self-concept, your own future potential, through the memories you choose to cultivate and strengthen.
Something to think about. What reality are you building with your memories?